Hey guys, we are back. I'm Jeff here with eBay Addicts. This is part three of our video series. Today's topic of the title of the video is how to make passive income so you can quit your 9 to 5 job. So that's going to be the title of our video. So if you guys don't know my guest here, JT Hustles, JT Automations, he is a published author. Tell people how many books you have published now.
I have 29 books published, and I'm writing my 30th book right now.
Okay, now JT, now we want to get the audience attention. Tell them how much money you make in an average month, or how much money do you make a year just from book royalties?
$10,000 a month currently, but we're trying to scale that up because that's a little low. But we're doing 10,000, and that's net profit, not gross. We're grossing more than that, but money that we could take to the grocery store and feed our families with is $10,000 a month net profit from my publishing company as an author.
All right, now hopefully that'll get your attention, because one day when JT's like me and he's old and gray and his hair starts turning gray, he'll still be able to go to the grocery store and buy groceries. He'll still be able to pay the light bill. He'll still be able to, to go buy groceries and pay his bills just off of, I guess they would call it semi-passive income that you made from book royalties, where you did the work one time and now that book is published and now you're drawing a check month after month after month for the rest of your life just off of that book royalties. So let's get into it, JT. Tell me, first of all, what inspired you to become a published author? Because not everybody just walking down the streets like, yeah, I'm going to be an author. Most people want to be, a doctor, lawyer, police officer, firefighter. Not too many people thinking, man, one day I'm going to be a published author. So tell us the backstory.
Yeah, so I got on social media and I was making independent courier videos, and I have over 100 independent courier videos breaking down different aspects of the business, because that's all I could talk about, because that's all I knew. And people kept telling me, hey man, I don't want to go watch 100 videos. One time I remember in the video you said something about insurance or something about inspecting a van. Can you remember, can you refer me to that video? And of course the title of the video wasn't how to inspect the cargo van, and after you do, like, at this point over 1,000 videos, I don't remember the title of the video that included me talking about inspecting a van and insuring the van. So they said, well, will you make a course or write a book? I didn't know how to make a course at the time, so I just went on Google, went on YouTube, how in the world do you write a book? And that's when I found out about Amazon KDP. So as crazy as it sounds, I didn't write a book to make money. I wrote a book to serve my audience. And that's what I encourage people to do now as an author. I tell people there's two types of books that you can write. You can write a book that's going to make you money, or you can write a book that's just a historical reference that you wanted documented and you thought it was a cool story. Me personally, I do a little bit of both, but primarily I want to write books that are going to make me money. So instead of me just saying in my mind, I want to write a book about this, I write books that people already want to buy to this day. And I learned that from my very first book. Ever since I published that very first book, which is
right above your head. I see it right here.
Right here. Right. It's called Drive to Freedom. The Drive to Freedom, ever since 2017, 2018, when it dropped, every month it makes more money than my overhead is. So I had rent at the time, but now I don't. But it covered rent and utilities. Now just utilities off of that one book every month. So every book I write since then, of course, that just adds to it, and it has grown it month after month after month. So I have children's books, I have adults books, I have low content, no content books. And the biggest key that I learned recently that I want to share here to actually save people some time is I want you to understand that you should become an author, not just a book writer. Far too many people will say, I'm going to be a book writer. I'm going to write a book. That book is going to be a lead magnet, or that book is going to be a passive income stream. But how we're scaling our publishing company now is by thinking of ourselves as an author. So yes, we write and produce books and put them on sale on Amazon or on our own website, which is authorjt.com. And that's where you can find our best books. Now we're keeping them and putting them on our own websites. But that's what we're doing now. We're writing the books. We also have a training program where I train other authors in a course and as to how I write books, how I market books, how I put those books out and make money off of those books. And I also make money because we recently, and when I say recently, I mean yesterday we started officially. Now we have a book club. So these are just 3 of the ways we make money as an author, right? We also make books, we make money off of ebook royalties, ACX royalties, the paperback royalties, all of those things as well. You can also have a book that upsells them to a training program like we do in our most recent book. So there's a lot of different ways to make money, but you have to have the mindset that I'm an author, I'm not a book writer, right? So an author can do a book club, which is what we just launched, right? You could teach other people how to be authors, right? Because everybody has a story. Not everybody knows how to articulate that story in a way that it's going to come across in the best way, and they don't know how to market it to make money. So you can teach people, you can make money doing the thing. And the dope thing about my book club is it's not like a traditional book club where everybody buys the same book, read the same chapter, sit in a circle and say how we feel. We will actually take entrepreneurial books and I go through them chapter by chapter and I give you a summary of the chapter. And then I also say, how does this apply to your business, right? And I'm using a business card here as my ghetto bookmark. But that's what we do in my book club. And right now we have over 70 members of that book club. And it's designed to actually help people become better entrepreneurs.
All right. So, JT, go ahead and plug your newest book. Tell them about your newest book you got, your real estate book that just dropped.
Yep. So I recently dropped a book that's entitled How to Buy Real Estate Property. How do you buy real estate property for $1,000 or less with no debt? And without wholesaling or get paid just for trying. So that book is going to tell you my tax sale investing strategy. Now, I'll tell you, anybody here can go to your local tax sale auction. You might be in a tax deed state or a tax lien state. I outlined that in the ebook, or you can just Google it and see what kind of state you're in. But basically how it works is people don't pay their property taxes. Depending on what county you in, they might let them slide for a year, 2 years or whatever. But eventually they're going to take that property and they're going to sell it at public auction. Now, if you know the right way to analyze those deals, you can buy property as is, clean up the title and sell it as is. Or you can buy it as is and you can develop it and do whatever you want with it. Now, if you keep it as a tax deed, banks aren't going to give you a loan on it and realtors are not going to sell it for you. But we talk about both of that in the book. The reason why I wrote that book is, one, I think that it is the most cost-effective way for anybody to get into real estate. And 2, data supports the fact that real estate has created more millionaires than any other industry out there, right? Now, if you're trying to become a billionaire, then we're talking about private equity and buying businesses and going public on the stock exchange and all of that. But in a very practical way, most millionaires got that way through real estate. So if you can go to an auction and pay $1,000 or less for a property and then resell it or rent it out or do whatever it is you want to do with it, or if you get outbid, you can make money just for trying. And the way you can make money just for trying is because most people do not know that the original owner, if there is a excess in funds, the original owner is entitled to that excess of funds. And if you help that man or woman get that excess funds, then you can get a fee for that. So let's say I lose my house and it goes to auction and they bid it up to $5,000, but I only owe $800 in back taxes. Well, $4,200 is what I'm entitled to because that's not what the county was owed, but that's what they generated from the auction. So Jeff can come and say, hey, JT, you're owed money based off of the excess that's available from you losing your house to the tax sale auction. I'll be willing to help you get that funds for 10%, 20%, 50%, right? It's really up to what you can negotiate. Now, there's some people that do 50% or higher, and they just have the conversation with people. Well, you can get 50% of $4,000 or you can get 100% of nothing, right? Because it's still a process you got to go through. You got to know who to contact, what paperwork to fill out, have all of your ducks in a row, because even though you're entitled to the money, anytime dealing with the government, it's not as easy as it should be. So they're going to make you jump through some hoops to get your money.
I'm with you, JT. I have like 20 rental properties that I own as well, and I could talk to you for an hour just about rental properties, but this video is primarily about helping people become a published author. So I want to get back to that. So if someone is like me, when I was a young guy and I was in college, I mean, I did really good in science, math, history, business. I had A's and B's in all those classes. But in English class, I had D's and F. I did terrible in English classes because, we had to punctuate everything. You couldn't have run-on sentences. The paragraphs had to be indented and done a certain way. And so I would get turn my paper in an English teacher, and I would get it back, and there'd be all these red marks and lines all over my English paper. So I want you to kind of give some people some knowledge and help them get started if they are interested in being a published author. Maybe when you first drop your first book, don't expect it that you're going to make 10 grand a month. He said he's making 10 grand a month off of 30 books. So you do 30 books divided by 10 grand. If you split it up, you see it may not be $10,000 just off of one book, but he's doing it compounded off of 30 different books. So that's why I don't want you guys to be discouraged and say, well, I'm only making $300 a month, $500 a month, or whatever. When you become a published author, like, don't get discouraged, because to me, that $500 a month will pay my rent. That might be a car payment. That might pay a cell phone bill. That might buy groceries for you and your family. So tell them that they have this technology now. It didn't used to exist when I was a kid. But they have this technology where you can speak, and you can speak it into existence, and you can speak into this thing, and it'll translate your words into a book. So talk to them about that.
Yeah, the Otter app, and it's a free version and a paid version. And really, I would say I wouldn't recommend that you buy the paid version until you're happy with the free version. Of course, it's just going to limit the amount of words you can say, but you could just spread it out and do the book that way. There's other software out there as well, but the one that I've used and I've encouraged other people to use as well, because it's been pretty straightforward, is the Otter app, OTTER. So it originally was made for like meetings. So if we're having a business meeting, you can focus on engaging in the meeting and not taking notes, because this app is going to get all of the information and transcribe it for us. But what you can do is you can just say whatever it is that you know. So you can say chapter 1, how to do XYZ, and you could talk it out, and then it will transcribe it. Now, there will be typos in it because I got a Southern accent. If you got an accent, you might say one word and thought you said another word. But then you could take that, you can export it, and you can take it to Fiverr.com, Fiverr.com. This is the way that I used to do it. Now I got a full-time VA that works with me, and that's why we're able to do so many books. But before I committed to wanting to do a ton of books, right, we'll go to Fiverr. I would look for a proofreader and editor, and then I would search by a level 2 seller. A level 2 seller, just somebody got some experience. They done this before. They got good reviews. Long story short. So I would send that to them, and they would proofread and edit it and make it sound professional, because you might know what you're talking about, but if you're like me, sometimes you might write how you speak, and it might not come across as professional as it should be to keep people's attention and to get people to read the entire text. So that's what you would do. Let me take a step back, though. You need to Google Amazon Kdp Template. It's a free template. I'm going to use another book here that's just as a good example of that. All right. So if you notice, anytime you read a book, you notice none of the words are cut off at the bottom of the book. None of the words are cut off like in the seams of the book. It just seems like, how in the world did they get the words perfectly in the center of the book? Well, they have templates that you can get, and you can go just Google Amazon Kdp Templates, and you can type your book directly into the template, or if you prefer to write it in words or pages, if you have Mac, you could do it there, but then you're just going to have to copy and paste it over anyway. So I encourage you to just type it off in the template, right? Or record it in Otter if you don't have time, because literally you can do this while you're doing Uber, while you're doing Lyft, during your lunch break. So whenever you have time, you could just speak your book. But when you export it, just copy and paste it over into that template, send that to Fiverr, let somebody proofread and edit it, right? Now you got a polished book. You can also go to Fiverr and you can pay somebody to make your book cover for KDP as well. Or if you're artistic, you can go to Canva, Canva, and that's a way that I made my first 2 book covers, right? Literally, where is it? Right here.
Right ahead. I see it.
Yeah, this book cover is literally just a picture of me and my daughter when she was a baby on my shoulders, and I just wrote the words over it, right? And I made that in Canva for absolutely free. And like I said, that book has made enough money to pay all of my bills every month ever since I published it. So, of course, the better the book cover it is, the better it'll do. I'm going to be honest with you. People will say, don't judge a book by its cover, but literally everybody judges a book by a cover, right? So if the cover looks like trash, if it's garbage, if it has typos in it, If it's a low quality image, it's real blurry. Certain people are going to say, well, JT didn't care enough about this book to make it quality, so it can't be good information in there. So you want to have a quality image that's not blurry. You want to make sure it's no typos. And something that I recently started incorporating in my titles is, instead of me having like an artistic high level title and then a detailed subtitle, I started naming my business books. So if you are somebody that's doing nonfiction, I started titling my nonfiction books with the result that I want people to have. Keep in mind, my most recent book is titled How to Buy Real Estate for $1,000 or Less Without Debt, Without Wholesaling, or Get Paid Just for Trying. That's the result that I want people to have. The book that I'm writing now, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, guys, JT Automations, he's a, not only is he a published author, but he's an award-winning author. So pay attention to what he said. I was just going to say, what would you tell a man or woman if they, A, don't have the motivation to get started to write a book, or two, they just don't know what to write about. Like, they're like, hey, I hear you. Everything you're saying is good. Everything is great. But I don't know what area of expertise I have. I don't know whether I'd write a fiction, nonfiction. I don't even know what to even topic or title it. They just don't even know how to get started. What advice would you have for them? I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no problem. No problem. Right. So I would say that most people have conversations every day anyway. Now, you might have that conversation with your family members, your best friend. You might even have it internally, but we're always having conversations anyway. So I would recommend that you take one of those conversations, or maybe all of those conversations, and say, okay, there is somebody that doesn't know what I know. So I'm going to take this conversation and turn it into a book. So you might talk about basketball, right? Believe it or not, the NBA or basketball in general is a huge genre. So people will buy your basketball book, especially if you're somebody that has played organized ball before, right? Every little kid that loves basketball wants to go to the NBA. But if you know how to make the varsity team on high school, literally I went and talked to some college kids and I encouraged them, hey, listen, right, you know how to play college ball. Most kids will never get to this level. Write a book about teaching smaller kids how to get good enough to get to the college ball level. And a couple of them are doing it and making passive income right now off of a children's book that they created, right? Just that simple. So I would say I would definitely write a book about what interests me. I wouldn't write about business just because JT makes money in business. I talk business every day, all day to people I talk to anyway. So if you're somebody that loves being in the kitchen cooking, you could do a cookbook, a recipe book, a how to do whatever it is that you do book, right? So how to eat good and nutritionally, right? For people that may be suffering with, I just got off the phone with a lady from my church that was telling me she was pre-diabetic, but she loves soul food. So, hey, maybe you're good in the kitchen. You can say this is how you can still eat good and not worry about getting diabetes or whatever the case may be. So I would say take what you're already talking about every day and say, okay, there's somebody that doesn't know about this subject matter, and I'm going to write a book about that. If your goal is to make money off of that book, right? Now, if you're somebody who says that I'm not really tripping about making money about it, just to get into the habit of doing it, right? You can write your own biography because nobody knows you as good as you know you, right? Now, one step that a lot of people hate, right? But this is something that I did, and it has made me a better writer. And I'm gonna tell you, Jeff, it might be weird, bro, but it works. I would say, okay, if you want to get really good at writing about a topic, identify who your favorite friend is or favorite family member. Let's say moms, because everybody loves their mom, right? All right. Put your mom's name on the top of a sheet of paper and write her eulogy, right? It sounds crazy,
right, bro, but keep it going. Keep going.
It sounds crazy, but psychologically, like we all know, in obituary, a eulogy is 1, maybe 2 pages. So you're forced to condense a ton of value into a short amount of words. When I write books, even my book that's behind me, there's no page numbers in the book. I tell people that if you want to write a book that's going to make money, right, just say everything you know about a subject matter, and that's the book, whether it's 60 pages, 40 pages, or 20 pages, right? So doing this exercise is forcing you to say, okay, if I had to write my mom's eulogy today, right, how can I say all of the great things in her 100-year life or however long she lived and condense it down to 2 pages, right? And I hope everybody's mother here lives to be 2,000 years old, not wishing anything bad. But this is just a writing exercise that's going to allow you to stop rambling and start making valuable content as a writer. And then you expand that subject matter on. So now, okay, take the same premise, and now we're going to write independent courier on the top of the page. And okay, how can you tell me everything I need to know about this subject matter without rambling, without getting way off track? And I'm guilty of that too. Even in this video, right, Jeff had to catch me because we was going into real estate, right? And it brought me back to being an author. So I would challenge everybody to write about something that you're talking about anyway. If you struggle as a writer, what I've done that has made me a better writer is say, because I personally don't think that you will ever write anything more important than the eulogy of the person you love the most. So if you did that exercise, you're going to get really good at doing it, right? I told my uncle I did it. He was mad at me for a week, but he read the book and loved the book, right? So he's like, man, hey, this is a great book, right? How'd you do this? Like, oh yeah, I wrote your eulogy before I wrote the book.
I'm sure he wasn't ready to give you a big hug after that one. Yeah. So I just want to interject something. If you guys are resellers and you're selling stuff on eBay or Amazon, think about it like this. When JT writes his book and publishes his book, he's got no money tied up in cost of goods. So it's not like he's buying, let's say he was trying to resell this DVD and he bought it for $1 and he's trying to sell it for $10. Once his book is finished and it's published, it's on autopilot. He's making money month after month after month. There's no money tied up in cost of goods. You know, he might have to do a little bit of marketing or advertising, but I mean, once it's up and it's off the ground, he's making money in perpetuity, month after month after month. So he has no money tied up in cost of goods. If you're someone and you're an independent contractor and you're a courier or a delivery driver or something, well, think about it like this: you don't have to spend no money in gas. Only thing you're doing is using your brain from intellectual property. And once that book is published and it's in the atmosphere, now he's generating revenue month after month after month for the rest of your life. That's why we titled this video, Make Enough Passive Income So You Can Quit Your 9-to-5 Job. Tell them when you made your first book in 2017 or whatever, you were able to generate enough revenue just off of that one book to pay your rent and pay your utilities every month. So tell people a little bit about this play, JT.
Yeah, and I want to be honest with you too. So that book only made $1,400 a month. So it's not enough for you to go get a Rolls Royce and ride into the sunset with. But $1,400 a month was more than what my rent and utilities was at the time. So that's why, you know, I'm grateful for that book, and that's when I really started taking being an author serious. I also want to say that I recommend that every author to do two things. One is very rarely are you going to write one book ever, and that one book is going to make you $10,000 or six figures or a millionaire, right? Now, you're probably more than likely are you going to be known for one book. Like Robert Kiyosaki is known for Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Robert Kiyosaki has a ton of books, right? So Grant Cardone is known for his 10X book, but he has a ton of books. Dave Ramsey, Tony Robbins, the list goes on and on. So you might be known for one book above all the rest, but most authors that are successful have a series of books. So I want you to always understand that, like, write a book to the best of your ability, but always be writing, right? So my goal is to write anywhere from 2 to 4 books a year myself. I also employ a VA. So my VA is a better writer than me than I am at children's books, right? So I realized that early on. I wrote my first children's book. It completely bombed. And I found a VA and said, hey, listen, this is the idea that I have for a children's book. I want to pay you to ghostwrite it. She charged me $150 to do everything for the book. Yep. I put the book out. The book made $800 the first month. I said, hey, listen, I want you off of Fiverr, working for me full time, and give me a price to do X amount of books a month.
So you hired this person. You paid this person $150 to write you a book, front to cover, and then your very first month that book paid you $800. You guys hear that play? So I want you guys to that's why in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, he said rich people don't work for money; they just use their brain. And he from him outsourcing that one job, said, okay, I'll pay you $150 for this book. His first month he made $800. How much you make in your second month?
Yep, man, it was steady then, so it was probably $600 to $700. Because again, Yeah.
All off of that $150 investment one time. So JT, now I'm trying to wrap this video up in 30 minutes. We had 24 minutes now. So you got to drop some free game on us. Tell us your top 3 tips or piece of advice to help somebody get started as an author. Top 3 tips right now.
All right. 1, only write about what you care about. Don't write about something that's going to just make you money. 2, you got to do a book series, right? So go into it saying that you're going to write at least 3 books around this subject matter. The third thing is you got to have a book funnel. So now I sell books on authorjt.com and on Amazon KDP. Like, let's say, for example, the books that I'm working on now, I'm going to do a 3-book series. I'm going to put 2 books on Amazon KDP. Book 1 is going to upsell book 2. Right? Book 2 is going to upsell book 3. Book 3 is going to be on authorjt.com. If I leave all of my IP on Amazon, I don't have the email address and I'm losing the majority of the money. So I don't know who's buying my book and I'm not making the most money off of my book. However, Amazon has more traffic than authorjt.com will ever have, right? But with authorjt.com alone, we have like 1,040 sales of an ebook that's $37. After the Stripe fee, I see like $36.40 or $35. You know, sometimes it fluctuates. Right now, that if I would have put that book on Amazon, realistically, I couldn't charge $37 for it, and the royalty that I would have made would have been like 10 to 12 bucks. I still wouldn't have had the email address of that man or woman, right? So I couldn't retarget them with the next book. So the third tip, in my opinion, is most important. Have a funnel. So when you do your books, okay, book 1, I'm not going to hold anything back, but we're going to talk a lot of game about this. I'm going to upsell you to book 2. Book 2 is still going to be on Amazon. Why? Because you like, know, and trust Amazon. Amazon is bigger than me. Amazon.
They got a ton of traffic. Right.
Yeah. And then, but now if you like book 1 and you like book 2, you want book 3. Now you trust me as an author because you already bought 2 of my books off of Amazon. You want the 3rd book, you go to authorjt.com. Now I'm actually capturing my customer information. One thing that I know for sure now is I know because I don't advertise the 3rd book. So I know if you got the 3rd book, you at least saw one of the books that were available on Amazon. So I know that you own another book of mine. And I'm adding you to an email list. So when I drop other books, I'm going to send you an email and say, hey, listen, right? Every book in this series was about real estate. You had to buy at least one of them off of Amazon because that's the only way I mentioned this one that's on authorjt.com. So you bought at least 2 of my books in the past. All right. It's a good chance you'll buy my 3rd one or my 10th one or my 30th one in this niche. So I'm going to start emailing you every time I write books in this niche. And that's how we build a business that's not at the mercy of the Amazon's algorithm, right? Now I know who's buying it. I have a direct relationship with them. I got them on the email list and I'm making more money from my site than Amazon pays me, right? So I saw one report where it said Amazon KDP paid me out $82,000. Amazon made close to $400,000. Right, off of my IP. So go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just said I'm trying to keep this video around 30 minutes long. So I want you to tell the people, if there's someone like me and they're a newbie and we don't know what to do, how to get started, you have a course that you offer people to help someone become from where they are right now, to help them become a published author and to help them get their first book written and published. So tell people what it is that you offer in the course, the good, the bad, A to Z. Give them kind of an overview of what you offer in the course and how you can help them if they're an average person working a 9-to-5 job and they feel like somewhere within them they have a book within them, but they just don't know how to get this from their brain onto the piece of paper. Tell them what you offer and how to do it.
All right. So in my course, I'm going to outline how do you outline a book in a way that it's going to flow so your readers will read the book. And so from start to finish, how do you produce a book for Amazon, since that's the easiest way to start off, right? After you go through that, we're going to talk a little bit about marketing, right? Because you're still going to stick to Amazon. I like Amazon because it's easy. Later on in the later part of the course, and I always continue to update modules on the end of my course, what you're going to learn later on in the course is now make your own website. It doesn't have to be authorjt.com. It could be yourname.com or whatever you want to call your publishing company.com. And we're going to talk about how do you go from just being a man or woman with a book on Amazon to having a publishing company that makes money as an author from your own websites in different ways. You can create multiple streams of income off a single book. So whether it's audio books, ebooks, paperbacks and hardbacks, book signings, book clubs, you name it, we're going to talk about all the different ways that you can cultivate a community that's going to make you money in perpetuity as an author.
Okay, I'm with it. Now, tell everybody where they can find you and follow you out on YouTube and Instagram. And also, they can check out your website, authorjt.com. So tell them where they can find you and follow you at, bro.
All right, you can follow me on YouTube at JT Automations. You can follow me on Instagram at JT Hustles with a Z. So that's JTHUSTLEZ. Both accounts have over 100,000 followers. I'll never DM you asking you to give me money or to buy my Forex training. So I don't want you to be scammed, but those are the real pages. And my website, again, is authorjt.com.
Okay, I'm with that. Now, JT, before we let you go, tell the people what I know you have a couple of projects in the back burner. Is there anything that you can kind of take us behind the curtain and tell us some of these 2-3 things that you're working on right now, but that's not been out yet? Tell them what they can look forward to either on YouTube, Instagram, being an author. What is it that you're working on right now?
Oh, yeah. So behind the scenes, we're working on the Foundation of Wealth Conference. That's going to be the first weekend in June. It's going to be my first ever conference. We're going to cover the fundamentals of what you can establish as an entrepreneur or an investor to ensure that you have wealth, right? And this is not guesswork. This is proven things: business, real estate, stock investing. And then we're going to include other speakers in there as well. But that's going to be fundamentally the keynote speakers. And it's going to be all from men and women that have made at least $30,000 net profit in 30 days or less. That was my prerequisite for hiring my speakers. So if you're going to listen to somebody that is going to teach you about stocks, they've made at least $30,000 a month in stocks. Same thing with business, same thing with real estate, or else I wouldn't hire them as a speaker here. We're also going to do an award ceremony as well, because we got some students of ours that's done 30K in 30 days, 100K in 100 days. So we're going to do all of that as well. So that's the conference that I'm super excited about. My 30th book that I'm writing is entitled How to Make 6 Figures a Year with a Business That Doesn't Have Any Products or Services, The Future of Making Money Smarter, Not Harder. So I'm going to talk to people about the different ways you can make money digitally without ever having a physical product or service that you have to offer people. That way the margins are bigger, and it's a way that everybody can do it. They just got to learn the sauce. So that's the book that I'm working on as well. The third thing that I'm working on is I'm actually producing my first short film. It's going to be a comedy. So I'm most known for the business game. So I want to do like an entrepreneurial comedy where it'll have an undertone of entrepreneurship. But I really think that if more people were exposed to entrepreneurship, it will better their lives and their loved one lives. And like the old people used to say, sometimes you got to mix the medicine with candy. So we're going to experiment. And I'm actually working with a company that does short films. And I'm going to produce a short film that's going to be a comedy to hopefully get more people laughing and at the same time try to subtly give them some medicine about becoming an entrepreneur and hopefully encourage them to come over to the dark side and be an entrepreneur. So those are the 3 things I'm most excited about that we're working on behind the scenes.
I just want to give a shout out to all the viewers. If y'all are here and you watch this whole 3-part series, we talked all about Instagram. We talked about how you can make $200 a day on Instagram. We talked about how JT Hustle said he's making $17,000 a month just from YouTube ad revenue. And we talked about how you can make $10,000 a month being a published author. So if you made it to all 3 of these series videos, big shout out to you. Go ahead and follow our guests. All the links are going to be down below. You can go ahead and follow JT Automations on YouTube and Instagram. His course is linked down below. Go ahead, JT. You got anything else you want to leave audience with?
Oh, yeah. I want to also tell people, like, and this is the same thing that I tell people on my channel, is don't be an information hoarder. So whether it's these 3 videos or any other videos that Jeff put out, right? If you just watch the videos, the only people that make money is me and Jeff off the ad revenue. So I want to challenge you all to the time that you spent listening to this or watching this, you'll never get back. So my media company, by the grace of God, makes $72,000 a month. We're trying to figure out how to get to $200K a month net profit. All right. So we've already figured it out for you. So when somebody comes here trying to help you and benefit you, you might not want to do everything that I do. Some people, they're introverted. They don't want to show their face. They don't want to do everything that I do. But you can find something that you might like doing. And even if it's just an extra $1,000 a month, right? Never let anybody make you feel bad about making an extra $12,000 a year. That can help you pay off your car faster, your house faster, go on a nicer vacation. If your mom call you and say, hey, my car broke down, you can help her get that fixed. These are all real life issues that may affect us all at one point or another. So I really want to challenge you. Don't be an information hoarder. Find something that interests you and take action. Don't just listen to all of this and do nothing with it.
Yeah, for sure, guys. You got to kind of invest in yourself. Like I said, I just went and bought JT Hustle's first course, the first video we talked about, the Insta Racks. I went and bought the course, and I'm probably going to go ahead and invest so that way I can grow my YouTube channel, invest in the second course, what he teaches you how to grow your YouTube channel from 0 to 100,000 subscribers. And this last course about audio or about making books. Like, I feel like I have a book within me, but at the same time, I just know from my past, from going to high school and college, I feel miserably in English. So I feel like I got it in here, but I just can't get it out of here on the paper. So anyways, I want to give you a big shout out here to my buddy, JT Automations, my brother. I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule and out of your busy day to come and talk to me and my audience, man. We appreciate you more than you know, bro.
Thank you, man. Anytime, man, you invite me, man, I'm going to be here, man.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, the only person, one person in the world that I wanted to talk to more than anybody else was JT Automations. So I said, man, if anybody can help me and my audience, it's this guy right here, JT Automations. So, like I said, guys, all the links are down below. You go ahead and follow our guest on YouTube and Instagram. He also has courses to help you get you going with Instagram, to help you get your YouTube channel going. And if you want to be a published author and you just don't know where to start, he also has a course to help you out with that. So do you have any closing remarks? And we'll let you go, brother. I appreciate your time.
Oh, yeah, man. Hey, like that's all I have for the people, man. Subscribe to this channel, like this, share this, right? That's going to tell the algorithm that videos like this are just as important as music videos, as cat videos, as prank videos. These are the videos that if people apply it, it's going to change their life, and it needs to be more people out there. So salute to Jeff for taking the time out, because Jeff already, I don't know if he said this on the channel or not, and I apologize if I'm exposing it, but Jeff already makes 6 figures a year. So Jeff doesn't have to come share the game that he has. He can just quietly make his money. He already said he has over 20 investment properties. Jeff can fall back and say, hey, I'm not helping nobody. I got mine. Y'all can figure it out. But he's being nice enough and giving his most valuable resource, which is his time. And he's teaching you all different ways that you can make money and leveraging his relationships to have other entrepreneurs come on here and help you as well. So definitely don't take it for granted. Support channels like this. Hey, I got nothing but love for you, brother.
Hey, you're my brother for life, man. I appreciate you. So I'm going to try to be up there and see you at that conference in June. Just make sure you send my invite or send me a DM on Instagram. I'll be there. And we're going to be there to take pictures. We're going to have time of our life, man. And so just be able to invest in yourself, guys. And I want to appreciate you guys for taking time. Go ahead and follow our guest, JT Automations. All the links are going to be down below, and we will see you guys in the next video. We appreciate you guys. We'll catch you guys later. Bye, everybody.